Okay, well, thank you so much for doing this. So this is Karen Donaldson, and she does EFT for weight loss, and I recommend that you all check that out. But you're here today to help me with this training series, and we had talked a little bit ahead of time about what would be appropriate, and I don't have anybody that I've worked on with physical issues, physical pain, physical symptoms. And you said you had that going on, so I thought we would try to have some movement in that.
Yes, thank you. I'm looking forward to this.
Great. So I need to let everyone know that this is the way that I start with physical conditions. I always let my client know that I do not diagnose, I do not treat anything, and this is working on the emotional / energetic contributing factors to what's causing it or preventing it from healing, and the body's the one that's doing all the work in healing this. And my first question always is, have you seen a doctor about this?
I have.
And what have the doctors said?
Go see a physical therapist. And I did.
Okay. And how has it gone with the physical therapist?
I think it went pretty well. It was diagnosed as, the doctor didn't say frozen shoulder, but the physical therapist said frozen shoulder. Probably related to maybe a mountain biking injury several years ago was what they came up with. Like I maybe injured it and then started guarding it and then didn't use it and then it got frozen.
Okay.
And so my mobility with it had been very limited to the point where it was kind of driving me crazy. I couldn't do some strength training that I wanted to do. And then I took up golf and I thought, oh, this is bad. This might affect my golf game. And I already need help with my golf game. So I thought I better pay attention to it. Well, just for the sake of paying attention to it anyway, I didn't want it to get worse.
Okay. And so tell me, before we go there, let's take a gauge about how it's doing today, because I can't affect how it does on it hurts at night, it's not nighttime. So I really want to gauge where the pain level is and the mobility is right now before we start. So give me a gauge on how bad it is on a scale of 0 to 10 for when it was the worst ever, and today right now how is it feeling?
There really isn't pain unless I am doing some stretching to try to get it to a full range of motion. So just sitting here, sleeping,
Okay.
used to be some pain. There's no pain really with that now. But when I do my stretches, then it's like, wow, that's a bit uncomfortable.
So with taking full responsibility for how much we're just going to check on this,
Yeah.
and how far you're going to stretch it, can you do a little movement now to see how the range of motion or the pain level when you try to stretch?
Yeah, the way that I usually do it is like this arm is good. If you notice, I can get my elbow next to my ear. And then this arm, I'm shifting. I cannot. I can go, like if I go like this.
Yes.
But I will have to hold it there.
Okay.
Or go like this.
Yes.
And then it kind of goes straight, but it's like, why are you doing that? It's
right. Is it painful?
It's like right now it's like a 3, 2, 4, maybe uncomfortable. If I was to lay on my back and do that, or if I got into this kind of a stretching thing,
yeah,
my arm was out, then it would be like, okay, that's about a 5 or a 6. Do I really have to hold that for 60 seconds? So it's more that kind of, when I try to stretch it and push it to what I think would be normal, it talks to me. It says, why are you doing that?
Okay. All right. So when you got the diagnosis of frozen shoulder from the PT, are you feeling anything about hearing that news from them?
I was a little bit surprised, like, really? Why would that happen?
Mm-hmm.
Mostly believed her. But being, an EFT practitioner myself, I started to do a lot of the exercises and the stretching. And then, of course, as synchronicity would have it, I start to see things EFT for frozen shoulder. Oh, what emotions are in your shoulder? And I'm thinking, that is interesting. What is going on with me? And so I did a little work on myself, but, occasionally it's challenging to do it all on yourself. So when you offered, I'm like, oh, this would be a great opportunity to have somebody help me work on it. So yes, I'm pretty open to that. There must be more to it than just like, oh, you've got some scar tissue. And also, I think, to be honest, it hurts like hell to have somebody just like cranking on it and trying to break up the tissue all the time. There's got to be something a little bit more to the story, is what I feel.
Okay, great. But it was just a surprise, but nothing really upsetting about that. You got from the PT.
I was very annoyed.
Very annoyed?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're feeling now? Thinking about her telling you that?
I'm like, I was annoyed. I'm like, seriously, why? Why is this doing this? So yeah, there was some annoyance and frustration.
And what are you feeling today looking back on that event where they told you it's a frozen shoulder?
Today is more like, that's interesting. I'm not as annoyed.
So there is some feeling of being annoyed?
There is frustration that it is not getting better any faster.
Okay.
And a bit of disbelief that it will get all the way.
All right. And how do you know that it's not getting better?
Because it got a little bit better and then it appeared to stop, because I will do this and I'll think, okay, can you just finish? Can you go all the way?
Okay.
It's stronger. It is getting stronger, but it's not, the range of motion doesn't feel like it's making very much progress anymore.
So let's then work on the frustration that you have today, that it's not getting better, and your level of frustration today, 0 to 10, that it's not getting any better.
Well, now I'm all worked up. I'm going to give it like about a 6.
And do you feel that feeling of frustration anywhere in your body?
Right here in my gut, in my solar plexus.
Okay. So let's go tap. And if I ask you to repeat anything that doesn't sound true, or you want to say in a different way, something else shows up, by all means, interrupt me, correct me, jump in, say it's not landing, so that I can use your words as much as I can.
Fabulous. Thank you.
Okay. So even though I feel all of this frustration,
in my
gut and solar plexus, that it's not getting any better.
It's not getting any better.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Even though I feel all of this frustration, it's not getting any better. When I stretch, I can see it's not better. It still has a way to go. And I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I feel it in my gut and solar plexus. All of this frustration. And it's not getting any better. I deeply and completely accept myself. Good. All this frustration in my gut and solar plexus. All this frustration in my gut and solar plexus. All this frustration in my gut and solar plexus. All this frustration in my gut and solar plexus. All this frustration in my gut and solar plexus. All this frustration in my gut and solar plexus. All this frustration in my gut and solar plexus. All this frustration in my gut and solar plexus. All this frustration in my gut and solar plexus. All this frustration in my gut and solar plexus. All this frustration in my gut and solar plexus. All this frustration in my gut and solar plexus. All this frustration in my gut and solar plexus. All this frustration in my gut and solar plexus. All this frustration in my gut and solar plexus. All this frustration in my gut and solar plexus. Okay. Just thinking about today that it's apparent that it's not getting any better. Frustration 0 to 10.
maybe like a 4.
Okay.
Like, so it's like, well, okay, maybe it's getting a little bit better.
Okay.
It has
All right.
some progress. Give yourself a break. Blah blah blah.
Okay. But what's left is still frustrating.
Yes, because I think, well, do I just accept it and this is as good as it's going to get, or is there? I'm tired of doing my exercises.
Okay. All right. Even though I feel this frustration,
Even though I feel this frustration.
do you still feel the frustration in your gut and solar plexus?
No, it's actually, I'm feeling it right here now
What do you call that area? I want to use your words.
in my head.
Okay.
In my,
Even though, I'm sorry?
in my head.
Okay. Even though I feel this frustration in my head,
Even though I feel this frustration in my head.
I'm tired of doing the exercises.
Tired of doing the exercises.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Even though I feel this frustration in my head,
Even though I feel this frustration in my head.
I'm tired of doing the exercises.
Tired of doing the exercises.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Deeply and completely accept myself.
Even though I feel this frustration in my head,
Even though I feel this frustration in my head.
I'm tired of doing the exercises.
I'm tired of doing the exercises, especially if I think they aren't going to work.
Okay. I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I'm tired of doing the exercises,
I'm tired of doing the exercises,
especially if I think they're not going to work.
especially if I think they're not going to work.
This frustration in my head,
This frustration in my head.
I'm tired of doing the exercises.
Tired of doing the exercises.
I'm tired of doing the exercises,
Doing the exercises,
especially if I think they're not going to work.
especially if I think they're not going to work.
I'm tired of doing the exercises.
Doing the exercises.
All this frustration in my head.
All this frustration in my head.
Okay, thinking about that now. Still frustration?
There's frustration. I think it's if they're not going to work, and there's just a frustration of are they going to work? And there's like a almost like I'm tired of talking about this. Just be done.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you know you've talked about it a lot?
In my head.
In your head.
Yeah. I don't talk about it with other people. It's like, just stop thinking about it. Just stop talking about it. Just freaking be done.
All right. And so with that, are you still feeling frustrated?
I think it's more a little bit overwhelming and hopeless, not in like a very, very sad, but just like whatever, hopeless, kind of like that.
Okay. And so as you're thinking today about your range of motion, you're feeling hopeless.
Yes. Yeah, that it probably is just going to stay there. What else would I have to do? Not surgery. How much stretching would I have to do? How much tapping would I have to do? Not that any of those are bad things. It's just like, it's been like a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And hopeless, 0 to 10.
6.
Do you feel that anywhere in your body?
Kind of goes back to the solar plexus.
Okay. All right. Even though I feel hopeless in my solar plexus.
Even though I feel hopeless in my solar plexus.
Just thinking about my range of motion today.
Just thinking about my range of motion today.
Is it going to get any better?
Is it going to get any better?
Is it going to just stay there?
Just going to stay there.
It's been a year.
It's been a year. Well, probably longer because it was before I even knew.
Okay. So it's been over a year.
It's been over a year.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Even though I feel hopeless.
Even though I feel hopeless.
Just thinking about that it's been over a year.
Just thinking about that it's been over a year.
Is it going to get any better?
Is it going to get any better?
Or is it just going to stay there?
Or is it just going to stay there?
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Even though I feel hopeless in my solar plexus.
Even though I feel hopeless in my solar plexus.
That it might just stay there.
It might just stay there.
It might not get any better.
Not get any better.
And it's been over a year.
It's been over a year.
And I feel hopeless in my solar plexus.
I feel hopeless in my solar plexus.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Feeling hopeless in my solar plexus.
Feeling hopeless in my solar plexus.
Feeling like it's just going to stay there.
Feeling like it's just going to stay there.
It's been over a year.
It's been over a year.
I feel hopeless in my solar plexus.
I feel hopeless in my solar plexus.
It's been there for over a year.
It's been there for over a year.
Is it just going to stay there?
Is it just going to stay there? And I keep hearing it's just stuck.
It's just stuck. Feeling hopeless in my solar plexus.
Feeling hopeless in my solar plexus.
Okay. Thinking about that now, feeling hopeless in your solar plexus. Your range of motion is what it is today, and it's been there for over a year. Hopeless, 0 to 10.
That's down. That's like 2.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to set that aside for now.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you, can we talk about the incident that may have started all of this, which is the accident?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So do you feel comfortable talking about it?
I do.
Okay. So I want you to tell me about the accident. You didn't end up in the hospital or anything? Okay. So if you feel any intensity, we'll just use this as testing.
Okay.
Because have you tapped on this before, the accident?
A little bit, but to be honest,
Right.
no.
So let's go ahead and have you talk about the accident. And if you feel any intensity, I want you to stop yourself. And also, if I'm picking up that I just want to make sure that you're okay, I may interrupt you and I may just check in. So go ahead and tell me what happened back then with the bike accident.
And again, I can't be certain that that was the one, but if I was to say, oh, that's probably what happened, because several years ago, I took up mountain biking and there's this huge learning curve and you fall a lot, especially if you're clipped into your pedals.
Mm-hmm. So
you could be going along just fine and you could hit a rock or a bump and then you're like off your bike.
Yep.
And you're on the dirt and you're saying bad words. And it's like, seriously, you have bruises. So if I had to guess at the situation, it would have been on a hill over on the east side of our town. I'm riding. I believe that I was riding by myself that day. And I had made it all the way up. And on the top part, there's a ridge and there's gravel. And it wasn't even on a hard part, which interestingly, my most notable mountain biking accidents are not on a hard part.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. But that's, in a way, it's like, seriously, I just wrecked right now. This is flat. What is going on?
Okay.
So I think I hit some gravel and skidded, and then I believe that I fell over on, well, I know I fell over on my left side.
Okay, so let me just stop and check.
Yeah.
Everything that you've told me up to now, do you have any emotional intensity about?
A little bit of, the tiniest little bit of anger, more like, ugh, not like really at me, just like, seriously?
Yeah.
Why do you have to fall? I mean, not like, damn you, Karen, you're stupid. Why did you have to fall? More like, why do there have to be falls in mountain biking? You know, because it hurts.
Yes. So
Okay.
anger 0 to 10.
2, 3, 4.
Do you feel that anywhere in your body?
That good old solar plexus again.
All right. Okay. Even though I feel this anger in my solar plexus,
I feel this anger in my solar plexus.
I'm thinking, seriously?
I'm thinking, seriously?
I hit the gravel.
I hit the gravel.
It wasn't even a hard surface.
It wasn't even a hard situation. It was flat.
Right. It was flat. It wasn't a hard situation.
A little more glamorous.
Yes, I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Even though I feel all this anger in my solar plexus,
Even though I feel all this anger in my solar plexus.
I hit gravel.
I hit gravel and a rock. I believe I hit a rock, a big rock.
Okay. I hit gravel, I hit a rock, and I landed on my shoulder.
Landed on my shoulder.
It's like, seriously?
It's like, seriously?
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Deeply and completely accept myself.
Even though I feel this anger in my solar plexus,
Even though I feel this anger in my solar plexus.
I hit the gravel and I hit my shoulder on a rock.
I hit the gravel and I hit my shoulder on a rock.
And I'm thinking, seriously?
Thinking, seriously, why does this happen? No, it wasn't like a woe is me. It's just like, why?
Okay. And I deeply and completely accept myself.
And I deeply and completely accept myself.
Why does this happen?
Why does this happen?
Seriously.
Seriously.
Feeling all this anger.
Feeling all this anger.
This anger in my solar plexus.
Anger in my solar plexus.
Why did this happen?
Why did this happen?
All of this anger.
All of this anger.
This anger in my solar plexus.
This anger in my solar plexus.
Why did this happen?
Why did this happen? And part of me is like, there's a fear if you get hurt, then maybe you can't work, you can't play, it's going to take time out of your schedule, you have to go get something checked out. It's very inconvenient. It's very inconvenient to get hurt.
Okay, so I'm going to bring you back to that one time and thinking maybe you were feeling at that moment fear because it's inconvenient.
Mm-hmm.
And how big is that fear now?
That's about a 5 or a 6.
Okay. And do you feel it in your solar plexus or somewhere else?
There and in my throat too.
Okay. All right. Even though I feel this fear in my throat and solar plexus.
Even though I feel this fear in my throat and my solar plexus.
Landing on a rock.
Landing on a rock.
And thinking, this is inconvenient.
Thinking, this is inconvenient.
I might not be able to work.
I might not be able to work.
I might not be able to play.
Not be able to play.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Even though I feel all of this fear.
Even though I feel all of this fear.
In my solar plexus and throat.
In my solar plexus and throat.
This fear that it's inconvenient.
This fear that it's inconvenient.
I might not be able to work.
Might not be able to work.
I might not be able to play.
Not be able to play.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Even though I feel all of this fear in my solar plexus and throat.
Even though I feel all of this fear in my solar plexus and throat.
Landing on a rock with my left shoulder.
Landing on a rock with my left shoulder.
Fearing that this is inconvenient.
Fearing that this is inconvenient.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
This fear.
This fear.
This fear in my shoulder, this fear in my throat and solar plexus.
This fear in my throat and solar plexus.
All of this fear.
All of this fear.
All of this fear.
All of this fear.
Landing on a rock with my left shoulder.
Landing on a rock with my left shoulder.
This is inconvenient.
This is inconvenient.
What if I can't work?
What if I can't work?
What if I can't play?
What if I can't play?
Okay.
So then a little voice says, see, don't be stupid. Don't be risky. Don't do. And then I want to say, it's not that risky.
Okay.
A little bit of judgment, I think. Yeah.
And thinking about that voice telling you that and the judgment, are you feeling any emotion about it?
That is in my head too.
And what's the emotion?
It is some judgment.
Okay. How strong is that? 0 to 10.
Like a 4
Okay.
or a 6. 4 of judging me, and then interestingly, like, will other people judge? Even though I think I try to hang out with non-judgmental people, will they think like, well, geez, that was stupid. Was she not paying attention? Does she not know how to ride? I don't know, weird stuff.
Which is stronger?
The judgment from other people.
And I want you to guess at who would have been judging you at that time. And you can just say a girlfriend, a guy friend, my partner. Guy friend?
My friend and a girlfriend.
Which one is stronger?
A guy.
Okay. So thinking about this particular guy, the feeling that you're going to be judged by him, is that still 4, 6 or 6?
Yeah.
Okay. It's still in your head?
Yeah.
Okay.
You mean mad?
I'm sorry, say that again?
A little bit mad at that person, like, shut up, don't judge me.
Okay. Even though I'm mad.
Even though I'm mad.
He's judging me.
He's judging me.
At least that's what the voice in my head is saying.
That's what the voice in my head is saying.
And I feel it in my head.
And I feel it in my head.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I fall and my left shoulder hits a rock.
I fall and my left shoulder hits a rock.
And I'm feeling this judgment.
And I'm feeling this judgment.
From this guy.
From this guy.
Was he there?
No, I was by myself.
Right. And I was alone.
Pretty good at making stuff up, you know. We can all like, oh, I'm certain that was going on. Even though I'm far, far away or whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I hear his judgy voice.
I hear his judgy voice.
And I deeply and completely accept myself.
And I deeply and completely accept myself.
Even though I fall on my shoulder.
Even though I fall on my shoulder, or any fall.
Yeah, but we're going to keep it to this one.
Sure.
And I hear his voice.
And I hear his voice.
He's judging me.
Judging me.
And I'm feeling mad.
And I'm feeling mad.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Deeply and completely accept myself.
I hear his judgy voice.
I hear his judgy voice.
And I'm feeling mad.
And I'm feeling mad.
I hear his judgy voice.
I hear his judgy voice.
And I'm feeling mad.
And I'm feeling mad.
He's not even there.
Not even there.
The voice is in my head.
The voice is in my head.
I'm pretty good at making stuff up.
I am pretty good at making stuff up.
I'm feeling mad.
I'm feeling mad.
Okay.
I want to say bad words, but it's like, okay, where's this going? So in my head, I'm going to say this to this person.
Okay. And so let me ask you, has he done that before?
I don't. The occasion to have that happen, I don't think so.
Okay. All right.
I think maybe in general, that person, because there's a couple of them actually that would be like thinking that they are above people a bit.
Yeah.
And that they wouldn't do dumb things or whatever. So it's not something they would ever come out and say, but it's kind of more like a feeling like, oh, you know, that kind of a thing. Should have been more careful, you know.
Like more careful. Yeah. So thinking about the accident itself and you falling and hitting a rock, is there any anger left that you felt? Is there any feeling of being mad because you hear the judgy voice of your friend?
I think any anger or things that I would have had towards me, like if I would have said, oh, that was like, I don't really say to myself, that was stupid. But I think for the other person or any other people, if I would feel that from someone else, I would be like, well, no, it wasn't. Stuff happens. And so
Okay.
then part of me would want to say to whoever, like, just stuff happens. Just stop that.
Okay.
Everybody can make mistakes. Things happen. It doesn't mean someone didn't pay attention, or, I mean, maybe a snake went out in front of you on the trail, or your mind did something. Like, life happens, things happen, and just chill out. That's what I'm feeling to the other people. Like, shut up.
Okay. Okay. So I think it would be helpful for you to take that list of those people and to do some tapping around for sure. I want to get back to the shoulder, unless you tell me something else happened with the accident.
No, but I think what's interesting is that I I want to be a little bit cautious. Recently, I set up some healthier boundaries, sort of because of stuff like that.
Okay.
And that I think has been a good thing. And so I think it's actually giving a bit of more resolution to some stuff that I recently did. So thank you for that. That was a good awareness for me to just have.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so shoulder.
Yes.
So there's no coincidence about why something shows up in any particular part of the body. So in the shoulder, it could have happened years ago. Like, when was this mountain biking accident?
Gosh, it was probably 5-6 years ago.
Okay. So it could have been there dormant all of this time, but something may have like triggered it.
Right.
And I'm wondering, around the time where you really were aware that this was going on with your shoulder, did you feel that there was any, so the shoulder sometimes in mental health has this idea around it of shouldering responsibility. And so if I say that to you, does that make any sense to any of your life situation that was happening around circumstances that were happening that around the time that you were starting to feel this shoulder pain?
Shouldering responsibility.
And anything that has to do with the muscles and the bones is some flavor of not good enough.
Alina. No, never an issue. Not with any of us. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And so if you were to guess at some theme related to that and the timing of this pain showing up, what would you guess that is?
Well, I think that I'm making the assumption with many people, because I'm trying to like make it be okay for me, which is interesting. I believe that a lot of us struggle with not good enough.
Yes.
And I know it's things I've worked on it for myself. I hear it, my clients all the time. You probably hear it too. So I think that, I would think, well, am I good enough in my business? Am I good enough in my family relationships? Am I good enough in my friendships? Am I good enough with money? So I would say that there would be a definite theme of, am I good enough practitioner? Am I good enough at helping people? I would say that would be a theme.
Okay. And so are you right-handed or left-handed?
Right-handed.
Okay. And so if I were to act, so for sure you're right-handed. It's not like you do.
Right with my left hand.
I'm sorry?
I can write pretty clearly with my left hand.
But it wasn't like you were trained out of being left-handed.
No,
okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. So right-handed, when we're talking about relationships and where things show up in the body, right-handed, right side, means somebody equal to you.
Okay.
Okay. Left side for you means that it's somebody that you are looking up to or looking down to in terms of relationship. So it's not going to be someone equal like a love interest or a relationship, romantic relationship,
Okay.
or a colleague. It's going to be someone like a parent, a child, a boss, things like that. So if I say that to you, does anything come up in terms of shouldering responsibility?
Well, as a parent, I think that I probably struggled a bit with, like, is it my responsibility to make sure that, my daughter is happy, and do I need to micromanage things, to make sure?
Okay. And so thinking about the timing of the pain, anything going on with your daughter that you can point to?
Well, it was high school. So
Okay.
there could have been, we have a good relationship. I don't remember any prominent, like, oh my gosh, that was a traumatic time. What I would call just the normal independence things and all of that.
Sure. And if you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. We can do this, the way that we do things, kind of coded. So I want you to think about an event that you would have felt that you weren't good enough, you were shouldering responsibility for something that happened with her, and tell me when you got it.
Okay.
Okay. And thinking about that event now, guess at your level of intensity.
Of what it was then?
Of how you feel about the event now. Looking back on that, if you were just to guess.
Now, looking back on it, I would say it's a 4, but back then it was like an 8 or a 10. It was a comment.
Okay. All right. So let's do even though.
Even though.
I'm remembering that comment.
I'm remembering that comment.
And it's about a 4.
And it's about a 4, although it cracked up a little bit.
Okay. I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Even though I remember that comment.
Now I remember that comment.
And I have some intensity around it.
And I have some intensity around it.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Deeply and completely accept myself.
Even though there's this incident.
Even though there's this incident.
With a comment.
A comment.
And I feel some intensity about it.
I feel some intensity about it.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Deeply and completely accept myself.
Good. Just thinking about that comment.
Just thinking about that comment.
There's some intensity.
There's some intensity.
There's some intensity about that.
There's some intensity about that.
That comment.
That comment.
Just remembering that comment.
Just remembering that comment.
Feeling some intensity.
Feeling some intensity.
Feeling some intensity about that comment.
Some intensity about that comment.
Feeling some intensity about that comment.
Feeling some intensity about that comment.
Okay.
That helped.
Okay. 0 to 10 on that.
I think it's about a 2 or a 1.
Okay. And can you since it's low and it's not a big T or anything like that, can you give it an emotion? What's the emotion that's left for you about that comment?
Actually, the emotion is it's fine. If the emotion before it was sadness and can I do that? But now it's like, well, no, that was it. Actually, my response to the comment was painful at that time, but looking at it now, it's like, no, that was the right thing, and it made everything actually turn out really good.
Okay. So what makes it a 1 or a 2 and not a 0?
Because it still hurt at the time.
Okay, but looking at it now and really listening to that comment, is it still a 1 or 2?
Yes, because I think there's a worry like, well, ooh, what if that would happen again?
Okay. All right, even though there's a worry.
Even though there's a worry.
What if it would happen again?
What if that happens again?
Thinking about that comment.
Thinking about that comment.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Deeply and completely accept myself.
even though there's a worry.
even though there is a worry.
What if that happens again?
That happens again.
Just thinking about that comment.
About that comment.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Even though I'm thinking about that comment.
Now I'm thinking about that comment.
And I feel this worry.
I feel this worry.
What if it happens again?
Happens again.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
This worry.
This worry.
What if it happens again?
What if it happens again?
This worry.
This worry.
What if it happens again?
What if it happens again?
This worry.
This worry.
What if it happens again?
Again.
This worry.
This worry.
What if it happens again?
What if it happens again? It's still there. Still there.
What do you think is left?
On the worry part, it's about a 4.
Oh, so it shot up.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's fine.
So what I'm going to ask is there any other situation that leads you to feeling this worry that it might happen again? Or it was that's what happened, it's just worry from that happening that one time?
No, I think it would have the potential to happen again.
Because of current circumstances?
Just because of life.
Because of life.
Yes, because we have a whole bunch of other people in our lives. Like there could be other people that could show up that could make you feel not quite good enough.
Okay, so I'm just going to have you think about your daughter and the comment that she made.
Right, with respect to that.
With respect to that, and the worry that it's going to happen again in that way with her.
Okay.
0 to 10.
That is still the 4.
Okay. So even though
I
you still feel this worry that it might happen again with her,
might happen again.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Deeply and completely accept myself.
Even though I'm thinking about that comment.
And I'm thinking about that comment.
And I still feel this worry. Because it might happen again with her.
It could happen again with her.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Deeply and completely accept myself.
Even though I feel this worry. Thinking about that comment. Because it could happen again with her. I deeply and completely accept myself. This worry.
This worry.
This worry that it could happen again.
This worry that it could happen again.
This worry it could happen again with her.
This worry that it could happen again with her.
Just thinking about that comment.
Thinking about that comment.
It might happen again with her.
It might happen again with her.
This worry that it could happen again with her.
This worry that it could happen again with her.
This worry that it could happen again with her.
This worry that it could happen again with her. It seems a little bit silly to worry about that now.
Okay. So 0 to 10, thinking about that comment. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to really think about that comment and see if there's anything left about that comment and that event with her.
It feels pretty resolved.
Okay.
It's
all right. Good.
Thanks.
Okay, so I want you to check on your shoulder.
Okay.
Let's check it out.
Moment of truth. So I usually just go like that.
Yep.
And so.
Okay. So it's a little better is what I can see from here, but it's not all the way up.
Right, like it went there. I didn't have to push it right there.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And when you get to that place, is it still about a 3-4?
No. No, it's probably, even if I go there, there's not as much resistance for it to even go there assisted.
Okay, great.
So that's good.
So that's good. And I would say that if we see improvement in the area that we just worked on, the emotional contributing factors that we just worked on, and we see a physical improvement, we know we're on to something. And that's a very fruitful place to continue to work.
Right.
And so you said maybe it'll happen again with other people, that kind of thing. So
Right.
I'm thinking that's the tabletop. Got legs under there to work on.
Okay. Take those legs anyway. Yeah. No, that's good. That's good to know. It's good to know.
Okay, good. All right, so let's wrap this up. So
Okay.
even though I'm not done with this yet,
Even though I'm not done with this yet, so I'll have to tap on that too.
um, and I still have other things to tap on.
Still have other things to tap on.
I appreciate that I've started the process.
I do appreciate that I've started the process.
So even though I still have more to do,
Even though I still have more to do.
I'm feeling better about a few events.
I am feeling better about a few events, and then it's like opened up a door, like, oh, well, that's good. It's not so daunting now. It's more like, okay, that's fine.
Great. Great. So even though I'm not done with this yet,
Even though I'm not done with this yet,
I can certainly work on it another time.
I can certainly work on it another time.
Now that this door is opened,
Now that the door is open,
it's not so daunting.
it's not so daunting.
It's not so daunting.
So daunting.
I can come back to this.
Come back to this.
I made some interesting insights and connections.
Made some very interesting insights and connections.
Now I have more to tap on,
I have more to tap on.
but I know what to tap on.
I know what to tap on.
And my shoulder is feeling better.
My shoulder is feeling better.
My shoulder's feeling a little bit better after this.
It's feeling better after this.
Yeah. And it's not so daunting
And it's not so daunting.
because this door's been opened.
This door's been opened.
Okay. Excellent.
Yay! Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good job.
It's quite interesting to be on the other side of the
It is.
Also, I will say thank you for the opportunity, because for me, of course, but then I think it's always nice to just feel that so that we know what the people that we work with feel. And I do have a lot of gratitude for that. I think having insight into to that is very important. So thank you for that opportunity.
Yeah, you're welcome. And thanks for being, vulnerable and putting yourself out there to work on this. And you said all of us feel not good enough at some point, and that's exactly right. And that's why so many physical things happen in our muscles and our bones. Why we're achy, and that kind of thing, because there's a part of us that doesn't feel good enough. And I feel you're right. As long as we're in human form, we all have to do some work in that arena.
Yeah, definitely. Thank goodness we have this to help us, though. Seriously.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, Karen.
I really appreciate it, Alina. Always good to see you.
Good to see you.